Hey everyone, I want to introduce a new show to the network. It's called Opening Scenes. It's a 4-part series in which my cousin Adrian and I will dissect an opening scene of some of our favorite movies. So, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, do it now. It's a small channel now, so I need your help. I have interviews, shows, stand-up clips, and sports all on there. I just need the views. That's where you come in. So give it a subscribe, give us the boost we need. You won't be disappointed. What movie is our first choice? Well, Adrian and I are excited to welcome you to the first episode of Opening Scenes. All right, on the network, a new series to the network. Myself and Adrian Ramirez will be doing a 4-part series called Opening Scenes. Every month, we're going to pick a movie and dissect their opening scene. All the details, characters, and fanfare broken down into our special categories. And for our very first one, we are taking a special deep dive on the movie The Dark Knight from 2008. Joining me right now is Adrian Ramirez, cousin Adrian. Welcome back.
What is going on? Thanks for having me back, Pat.
That's right. We did a couple episodes of the Hard Knocks series.
Yeah.
Looking for a secondary project, and now we're doing opening scenes.
Now that you mention it, when does the in-series, mid-series Hard Knocks start?
I think it starts this week. I was looking at that the other day because they're doing the Arizona Cardinals, and as far as picking a team that is in utter disarray, I don't know if you could do a better one than that.
Yeah.
Who are the teams in the most disarray? Cardinals, Raiders?
Raiders. Well, Raiders probably at the top of that list because I mean,
God, it might be Raiders. Yeah, it might be.
Just what a disappointment. I mean, they got Devontae Adams. They got Darren Waller, who just can't. He's got an injury bug like no other.
No play Waller.
No play Waller, and I've been telling everyone who did what's his name? McDaniels.
Josh
McDaniels.
Josh, go for it on 4th and 6. McDaniels.
Who did he convince that he's a head coach in this league? I mean, he drafted Tim Tebow in the first round. He's the reason we had Tebow Mania to begin.
I think the sad answer to who did he convince to be a head coach was Mark Davis, who might have equally as many psychotic problems.
Yeah, Mark Davis cuts his own hair.
Why are you putting me in a bad mood at the start of the show?
Well, you did say teams that are in disarray, and
I brought it up.
Got to go there, but it's almost I'm paying you a compliment. I thought the Raiders were going to be way better than they are.
I know, I sure did. I don't know what to say. I'm at the mindset where it's time to burn down the house and rebuild it with 1 2x4. It's enough. Enough's enough. Carr, enough's enough. McDaniels, just everything.
Did you see that crazy stat that the Raiders have cut their last 4 first-round picks? That's a bad stat to have.
Nothing should surprise you at this point when it comes to wacky stats. Like if there was a stat for teams that are best at using their timeouts on defense, I'm sure we would be that winner.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? We're pretty good at using our timeouts on defense, You're like, wait, that's not a good sign.
And 2-7, like your season's over at 2-7.
Definitely. Definitely. Should have been a red flag after that horrible Arizona.
The comeback.
Comeback.
That was rough.
The Arizona destroying.
Yeah, sorry to get you in a bad mood, man. But
all right, let's flip it. Let's get back to a good mood, cousin Adrian. So we're doing this series called Opening Scenes. You and I have a love of movies. So we wanted to do a movie series, but not just pick movies we like. Like, let's just really do a hard dive on some of our favorite movies and the opening scenes of some of our favorite movies. So we chose The Dark Knight as our first one, which leads me to this opening question, just rethinking about the movie. Was this really the last blockbuster movie? I don't feel like we have blockbuster movies anymore. Maybe present exception Top Gun Maverick this year. But
Right.
when was the last time we had a blockbuster movie?
That's excluding like all the Marvel movies, I guess, right?
Are we
That's
counting those? I guess
we
those
have
are the
to.
blockbusters these days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when's the last time we had a true movie star in an
Yeah.
action movie or a drama like a DiCaprio or a Clooney or a Julia Roberts in a drama? So
We're
this
talking
is
like
a bit of a throwback.
an action epic. You're
Action
talking
epic,
about.
the ensemble cast too. I don't think we've seen in a while.
Right. I think maybe, yeah, yeah, probably Top Gun. But you see that Top Gun wasn't really an ensemble. That was more like Tom Cruise and a bunch
Right.
of unknowns.
Yeah, if you talk about Top Gun Maverick, it's a Tom Cruise movie. It's not a Miles Teller movie. It
Right.
is Tom Cruise is the draw to go see this movie, and these other guys are going to be part of the movie as well.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I was watching this. I'm like, this was the last movie where I was like jacked to see this movie in the theater. Like when the preview came out and they do the close up of that Joker mask in the opening scene, you're just like, when is this movie coming out? I need
Right.
to see this movie. It's coming out in 6 months. I don't know if I can wait that long. I need to see it
Yeah.
now.
I saw that movie opening night, like Thursday night, and then I saw it the next morning at 9 a.m. I saw that movie probably close to 10, like probably, because I saw that movie close to like 12 times in theaters.
Really? That many? So this was a big movie for
Yeah.
you. Well, like talk about the generations of Batman. What is your relationship to Batman the movie series? Say compared to mine, I'm older than you. So my Batman starts with Michael Keaton, and then we go through the George Clooney valley of those bad Batman movies.
Hmm.
And then when we talk about Chris Nolan later, how he revives it, is that where you started with Batman? Is this Dark Knight series?
That's a good question. I was actually thinking of that because, yeah, like you said, you are older than me, so you had the Keaton movies to latch onto. I didn't have those movies. I saw them, but they didn't mean as much to me. So my relationship to Batman was Val Kilmer and George
That was your first
Clooney. I mean,
discovery
yeah,
of the Batman was Clooney and Kilmer.
yeah, the nipple Batman, the George Clooney Batman. God, that movie is so atrocious. So,
Definitely one of the worst Batman offerings. That Clooney one
yeah.
is
Then
rough.
I don't know how you felt, but I remember when Batman Begins came out, and again, I was like around maybe 12 or 13. I didn't know that much about the movie going into it other than that it was Batman. And that movie was uh to me like holy shit, like it sort of it was so it felt like it could have been real, like it was set like in a reality that was believable.
Well, it's interesting you say that because you were excited to see the Batman series. I think people of my generation and older, when the Nolan Batman series came out, Batman Begins, I felt almost skeptical, kind of like thinking like, all right, like who's Batman? Oh, Christian Bale. Who's Christopher Nolan? Okay, let's see. Let's go into this cautiously optimistic. So that I think
Right.
that was my because we had been burned. We had been burned by Clooney and Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, yeah, but especially the first Batman Begins, like that ensemble cast. We got Michael Caine, we got Morgan Freeman, we got Liam Neeson. It was just, and then Katie Holmes.
That's right.
So,
Katie Holmes is in that first one.
hmm
Yeah. So total reboot of characters. And then like once we see the movie, we realize like, oh, this is a different Batman than we were used to the last 10 years. This is a whole
yeah,
new direction
hmm
Batman is going.
and a really sympathetic character too. The past the four Batman movies that preceded Batman Begins. I mean, you liked Bruce Wayne, but you didn't really feel like his sort of anguish. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
you're
with this,
right. Yeah, this Bruce Wayne character is a lot more deep. Like we went deeper than the Michael Keaton Bruce Wayne in the
yeah.
Nolan series, which was a big draw.
Who's your favorite Batman, by the way?
Oh, for me, I do think it's between Bale and Michael Keaton.
Okay.
I think Keaton was right there on the surface, breaking through a little somewhat. You know, I rewatched those Batman and Batman Begins. Those are largely, I think the star of that movie is really Tim Burton, and the scene and the picture he paints with that hyper realized comic book city, but it doesn't go over the top like it did in that third or fourth Batman, which is essentially a comic book on screen.
Right.
And it's silly. Tim Burton got it to the point where it was a comic book reality. So
Right.
yeah, I like Bale because he's tough, he's strong, he's got all the gadgets, like he kicks ass. And Michael Keaton was great in the sense like you did think he was a rich guy. You're like, that's what a rich guy. He was mysterious, and he had a little bit of side to him. It's almost to the point where like I almost wish he did that third one, and they really went deep on it. Although arguably I think Batman Returns, the second Michael Keaton one, is the better Batman. It is really weird and cool and almost scary in a lot of ways.
It is, yeah. The Penguin, I remember, gave me nightmares as a kid.
The Penguin and then the Catwoman. You were just like, whoa, 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 what's going on here? I'm in this movie now. Definitely.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the first two were Tim Burton, like the cinematic auteur, like the star. Similar to how Quentin Tarantino is a star of his films, and everyone else is just like his little, his puppets in the film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're totally right on with that. And then C-Bell, it's more character focused.
Do you feel is it just a two-person race, Bale versus Keaton, or is Bale far and away your number one?
I'll be honest with you. I really like Robert Pattinson.
Oh, you're Team Pattinson?
I'm not saying he's my favorite because he's only one movie in, but damn, yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna reserve my vote for the second sequel until I.
Do you have Affleck in your top three?
No.
He gave it a run. He gave Batman a test drive.
Did you hear that they're actually gonna revive that Batman series with Affleck?
No. Is he gonna be Batman again? Can he go back to Batman?
Which is a first in cinematic history, two Batmans with their own film series at the same time.
Oh wow, that's weird, but at first glance,
irresponsible.
Like at first glance, I'm thinking I kind of like this idea though. Like I always had the thought of movies being franchises, but in the sense where like, you know how you always say, like whenever you do a deep dive on a movie, and then you say like, who was slated to direct it, but they dropped out, and who was going to be the star, and this was going to be the love interest. I would say, let's have two movies, exact same script being made at the same time, but two different directors, and they make like one director makes their Batman and the other director makes their Batman. And then we get to watch them in the theaters and we see how each one went with the same script, not having seen the other Batman. Wouldn't you want to see like, what's the famous one that Brad Pitt didn't do? And you're like, whoa, I would like to see what that's all about with a recasted with Brad Pitt instead of such and such. Like, let's watch that movie too. Like, why can't we have both?
Oh, that would be such chaos and toxicity.
Right. I don't know if it can really be done, to be honest. But imagine just two alternate universes and they make the same movie, and then we get to watch how each one went in each direction.
But I mean, that's just a ludicrous idea, but it's interesting as a concept.
Right. The movie franchise. Like, you have a McDonald's in Los Angeles and you have a McDonald's in San Diego. They're both McDonald's, but then you're like, hey, look, the architecture is a little different at this McDonald's. Oh, look, they got two lines at the drive-thru. I'm just saying, like, why deprive us of more potential kick-ass movies?
Do you subscribe to the idea that some fast food like it's the same chain restaurant that's different locations are better than the other ones?
Oh yeah, that's true. I guess not. The food isn't any different, but the restaurant itself and the employees can be different.
Yeah.
You know, like some places have a little nicer like seating area. Some locations are better. Like, you know, we've all been in McDonald's where it's just chaos in there.
Yeah.
People yelling, people, employees calling out the numbers, and you're like, this is nuts in here.
Yeah. I
Well,
guess not.
let's
So that's a no.
well, let's go 2008. I did a little research. These were the movies that came out in 2008. This is interesting. Tropic Thunder, Taken, The Hurt Locker, Pineapple Express, Iron Man all came out in 2008. I say Iron Man because I think we had a turning of the superhero movie this year where the superhero movie got a little darker. It wasn't so much PG-13 kids movie. It was PG-13 young adult, dark turn to it as well. And then I always forget Batman The Dark Knight is a sequel. This was the sequel to Batman Begins, and for the most part, with Christopher Nolan and Christian Bale, I kind of started the series with this Batman.
Oh, you did? Oh, I see what you're saying.
Saw Batman Begins, but I didn't rush out into the theater to go see it like I did this one.
I don't feel like I did either. I felt, or I may have. I don't know. Like, I just remember that movie kind of flying on under the radar. It's funny. The advertising, the TV spots for Batman Begins were so mid 2000s. There's one Christian Bale. It's like he's saving. It's just a montage of him like saving Katie Holmes, and it's and the backdrop. The song that's played in the background of that TV spot. And they say that a hero can save.
Really? I don't even remember that. But it was that like pop song.
You could look it up. It is so hilarious that doesn't get more notoriety as just like cringe TV spots.
Yeah, that is really cringe and interesting because like in all these Nolan movies, like he uses no known music. It's all original score.
Hans Zimmer.
And the previews obviously didn't adhere to that. That is funny. I don't know if you're like me, but whenever they insert like a pop culture song into a movie or something like that, for some reason I don't like it. It feels like they're taking advantage of the moment, you know? Like they'll put like in the movie Varsity Blues when they play Foo Fighters, Here Comes My Hero. You're like, come on, man, come on, dude. This is MTV. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I get a little cringy on those things.
So what do you just like Tarantino because that's like one of his main trademarks?
Yeah, he does put a lot of pop music in but his pop music isn't of the day though. It isn't current. It's usually like an older song. Yeah. Same with Scorsese putting in a million Rolling Stone songs in multiple movies.
So you're talking more like how Armageddon had Aerosmith.
Right. That's more so what I don't like when it's a music, some top 40 song right then in the time where it's like, yeah, let's put No Doubt in this movie. And it's like, I don't know why I don't like it. It just kind of irks me.
If there's one criticism, then now that we're talking about this, the one gripe that I have with Top Gun Maverick is that they have Lady Gaga at the end. I was like, why?
Oh, interesting. I didn't even notice that. She's the credit song.
Yeah, whatever the song that is. It's like, why? It's Fly Off Into the Sunset, Maverick.
Let it be timeless. Here's an interesting note. The Oscars for 2008, Heath Ledger won Best Supporting Actor, of course, for Joker. Batman, The Dark Knight wins Best Sound Editing. Best Movie of the Year was Slumdog Millionaire. So I would say a fairly stacked Oscars. It's interesting, the lineup that The Dark Knight was put into with. A lot of comedies as well. I think Step Brothers was also this year in the movies.
A lot of landmark movies that year.
There really were. When I was looking it up, I was like, this movie was 2008? This movie was 2008? A lot of good stuff in 2008, which maybe this was the beginning of the end of the blockbuster. Like we even had blockbuster comedies.
Yeah.
With like Pineapple Express was that true cult following movie where it's like, did you see Pineapple Express? Dude, you got to see it. You got to see it. You got to go see Pineapple Express. So yeah, I'm wondering if this was the end of the blockbusters.
Can I ask you a sensitive question, maybe to some people? Do you think that if Heath Ledger didn't die, that he'd win the Oscar? No, right?
That's a good question because he had passed away. Did he pass away before this movie was released?
Yeah, he did.
He did. So he had passed away, and then this movie came out, and then this was truly our last chance to
You know
see him
what?
anything because this
Don't
was.
don't quote me on that. It may have been. I'm not sure actually the timeline of his death.
He had definitely passed away before, yeah, the Oscars, of course, because I think his mother accepts the award for him. I can't remember exactly, but I mean, I think there is a bit of effect in his passing, but I think you can make a strong argument that he was best supporting, like the villain, to take that role, the Joker being passed from Nicholson
Yeah,
was so difficult of a task. And just in the research he did, and in the preview, when the preview
good.
of The Dark Knight comes out, and there's that one scene where Heath Ledger's sticking his head out of the police car like a dog, you're just like, what the fuck is this?
Madness.
I gotta see this. Yeah, so
Fucking madness.
yeah, well, I think that had to play a role. I do feel he's a deserving winner
Yeah, he
of
is.
best supporting because I mean you could argue, I mean, when we get to the category of it, like, is this a Christian Bale movie or is this a Heath Ledger movie? I think you could make a case that this is Heath Ledger's movie.
I'll do you one better. Is it a Gary Oldman movie? No, I'm serious.
I'll do you one worse. Is it an Aaron Eckhart movie? What, you think Gary Oldman steals the movie? What do you mean?
I don't think he steals a movie, but there's such equal screen time for all the principal characters that if you look at it closely, Gary Oldman is kind of like the main. Well, of course, Batman's the main protagonist, but he's like just on his ass. I mean, he's almost in every scene. He's like the hero of the movie in a lot of respects.
Yeah, he really
He
is
apprehends
that.
the Joker.
Yeah, that's true. He really is that foundation of the movie in a lot of ways. He's in a lot of scenes. He's young Commissioner Gordon. He's pulling that like that weird heist where he pretends to be dead. And he's like, doesn't tell anybody. He's like, you didn't even tell your family?
I had to protect my family. Yeah. For my family's safety. Yeah.
Right. And somehow he has this relationship with Batman that no one else has. Like Batman only appears to him, essentially.
Yeah, because I think the idea behind that is going back to Batman Begins, he's like the first person to console him after his parents die.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that, and then I don't know exactly how Batman knows, but he knows that he's like the one that's one of the few like higher ranking police officers that's definitely like incorruptible.
Yeah, he has a trust there with him. Yeah, him along with Alfred are the cornerstones or the timepieces of the series.
And Lucius Fox too, yeah. Morgan.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, Lucius Fox as well. That's right. Yeah. Sneaks his cell phone into the Chinese skyscraper.
That's a badass. Like that whole sort. So like, yeah, this. I don't think it's any news to anyone, but Christopher Nolan's like a self-proclaimed like James Bond fanboy. So like there's no news that like there's like all this crazy technology that Batman uses.
That scene, what do they call it? Operation Skyhook or something?
Skyhook, yeah.
Very Bond-like of a scene. Like not even necessary to the movie, but it looks cool.
It's so sick.
Yeah, it's so cool. So many sweeping shots of cityscapes.
Hong Kong, yeah.
A little mini heist, James Bond, Mission Impossible in a Batman movie to it as well. Well, let's talk about types of openings in movies. I did some looking up to see some similarities or some consistencies with movies in general. I found about 7 different types of openings. The first one is where you enter the villain, like we had in this one. Second one can be where you enter the hero, like in Indiana Jones or several action movies, hero movies. You have relationship establishment, like when a husband and wife, the movie opens with you seeing a relationship. You have a plot catalyst where you learn about something that is going to move the movie, like in Uncut Gems, for example. You have ones that follow a genre, that's like a musical, or one where you flip a genre, that is like a Tarantino or a Pulp Fiction. And then two two common ones, red herrings and MacGuffins. So you look at like all the different types of openings to movies and all the different ways to tell a story, all the ways you can purposely mislead or make it seem like an important character right off the bat. I mean, the other type of opening I like, this would fall under red herrings, is every Bond movie opens with James Bond doing a little mission, and then the movie starts with the credits, and then we're off to whatever the movie is. But the beginning has nothing to do with the movie, and it just sucks you in, and then it gets you ready for the ride you're about to take. This one obviously enters the villain. Can you think of some great villain introductions in movies? I'm racking my brain for good ones.
Inglourious Bastards.
That's a good one. Yeah, that is a good one. And also, you don't know what that guy is at first.
Right.
You don't know if he's the villain.
He's very trim and proper, and then
Yeah, I like that one. I didn't even think of that one. I thought John Doe in Seven, the movie Seven, who he enters the movie about 45 minutes into the movie.
No Country for Old Men.
That's a good one. Yeah, he enters. And then, of course, I had Darth Vader when he enters that spaceship where everything's white. He's this sole black figure. Right. And you just hear the presence. So, and then this one is an enter the villain, but it is a slow build because we don't see his face to the end of the scene.
Right.
But we get the feeling that this is so much attention built towards this guy. And then in researching it, Christopher Nolan starts every single Batman with the villain is in the first scene. Although I think this one is the best version of it.
Is that how I'm not really, now that you mentioned it, I don't really remember how Batman Begins starts. Is that with Ra's al Ghul?
Yes. Yeah. I looked that one up to watch it. Yeah. Ra's al Ghul has a scene with Bruce Wayne. I almost said Bruce Willis. Bruce Wayne.
Oh, that's right. The prison.
A prison. Yeah. And then The Dark Knight Rises is Bane in that airplane.
That crazy. Yeah. Right.
Crazy airplane sweeping shot.
That opening's the shit too.
That was a great opening too. I have it right up there with The Dark Knight as just a close number 2. That's a crazy opening with the airplane. The airplane explodes. Weird airplane hijacking.
Yeah.
And I didn't even notice it till you watch the opening about 5 to 10 extra times, is the themes of the opening. The cityscape opens like, it's almost like you watch, like you can tell where the influences later come of Inception, because this looks like very much like the movie Inception by Christopher Nolan. That first scene pushing into the building, and then the window explodes out. And then all the close-ups of the masks, which we learn later in the movie that this is a big movie about the masks the characters put on, hiding the identity and why. Sure. And then the reveal of, we don't hear the Joker's voice, we don't see his face to the end of this scene. Like when I first watched it, I didn't know the Joker was in this crew at first.
Oh, okay.
You don't know right away which one the Joker is until he takes off the mask, you hear his voice. So like so much little Easter eggs and going on in the scene. It just sets you up for the ride you're about to take.
Yeah. And it's a really effective intro scene insofar as it there's a lot of Joker exposition which sets up like sort of like his character type, some of his traits, like some of his background, so that but it's done. There's a fine line between outright exposition and then artfully crafted exposition. Which
where do you think this exposition goes under? Because it is a bit forced. Maybe it needs to be though. Like it is very clunky. Where it's like, so why do they call him the Joker? It's like you're asking this now. We're already midway through the heist, man.
Right. I thought. I mean. And then, it's like, you get that out of the way. Yeah, I forgot how fucking long that movie was, man. It was 3 hours long.
The movie is a bit long. Yeah, they could do it without a few scenes.
But, I mean, it moves up. If you have that exposition, and then, he does the how I got these scars bullshit. And then, when he's dancing with Maggie Gyllenhaal, he gives some more of his background. So, but, like, you get all that out of the way, and you have this sort of understanding the sort of mystique that surrounds a Joker. And with that established, you can just rock and roll for the rest of the movie. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to really drag the movie down with any more. I think it was a pretty lean way of showing the audience what the Joker's all about.
Yeah, and I think this opening scene sets you up for knowing that like this is going to be Joker Batman on equal levels, going head to head. Like this is a worthy villain. But this is why I brought up the James Bond thing, is it reminded that, because this heist really doesn't have a lot to do with the movie. This isn't an integral part of the movie. It doesn't kick off the Joker's bank heist run. He just is a total chaos, anarchist, nihilist guy because he burns the money. He doesn't care about the money.
It kind of is, though, because you have to remember that he's stealing the mob. So that's
right. The mob is the tie-in. You're right.
That's the knock on the door. That's how he gets through the door. You know, like when it's a guy in a cheap purple suit. He's a nobody. Mm-hmm. So that's why he has that sort of introduction. And so he's like, yeah, I got the suit wasn't cheap. You ought to know, you bought it. So
right.
He's got, so that's where he's trying to, that's how he gets that huge sum of money at the end, because
that was also a great preview clip when Alfred is like, some people want to rule the world and some people want to do this. And they're like, some people just want to watch it burn. Like, Jesus, Alfred, that's dark.
Some men just want to watch the world. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah. Bruce Wayne looks at him all confused.
Yeah, startled. Yeah, because Joker is the perfect foil to Batman, just because Batman has this super rigid moral code, and then Joker is just an anarchist.
Right, which Batman isn't that far off of. Like, they do a great job of making these characters like ask the question of like, hey, you're not so different from me. And then the other one says like, yeah, you're not so different from me. It has that good line in the sand where you kind of ask yourself like, oh yeah, both these guys could be both nuts. One is on the moral side. One just doesn't care.
Yeah.
So we talked about the exposition, the cinematography, the bank heist. Anytime a movie starts with a bank heist, I'm pretty much always in, all the way in. Like, you want to rob a bank. It gave me that feeling of the movie Heat when they rob the bank. Even the music, that violin, that like slow percussion beat of them. No credits. There's no opening credits in this movie.
Cold opening.
Just straight into it. You're just locked into this movie, and you see dudes in clown masks on a zip line. And like, I think you're hooked within 20 seconds. There's no lines yet. Really, really compelling opening scene, and then right into the bank heist. And then the music kind of helps. Like, you don't notice the music till like you rewatch it a bunch of times. We're like, oh, look at that subtle music. And I looked it up, and I think it was a razor blade on a violin being used for the effect of it.
Right. That's like if you notice, like throughout the entire trilogy, like each character kind of has like their own music theme. So like that's the Joker theme, is that single violin that kind of creeps up into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the scene ends with I have the scene ending with the bus pulling out into the traffic. Although technically the bank scenes ends with when they drive off and William Fichtner has the grenade in his mouth, and he just looks like he shit his pants. He's like, oh. I have some thoughts on bank manager William Fichtner when we get to it.
Mob boss or a mob bank manager. Yeah.
Yeah. The only recognizable face really in that first scene, like there's extras in the scene, there's the Joker and stuff, but the only face, like when you first see him in the movie, you're like, hey, it's that guy.
Hey, it's that dude. Doesn't he come out like in Armageddon or some bullshit?
Yeah. He's in Armageddon. He's in Heat. He's in a bunch of stuff. William Fichtner. He's a staple of action movies and beyond.
You and your friends are dead.
Great lines.
Yeah.
Isn't he the guy in Armageddon who like pulls the gun on Bruce Willis, and Steve Buscemi's like, why'd you bring a gun into space?
Movie's so stupid.
Armageddon was that era of movies where like you're like, well, let's make a long music video. I love it.
Yeah, right. I had toys to Armageddon.
Oh
That's
yeah.
how huge of a movie that it was. A Michael Bay movie, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I had like fucking Ben Affleck and Bruce Willis toys.
Armageddon was so great because it was just like anything can go in this movie. Anything goes.
Yeah.
When Bruce Willis is shooting a shotgun at Ben Affleck on an oil rig, he's like,
Yeah. You sleep with when he's sleeping with Liv
"You'll get away
Tyler.
with my daughter." He's shooting at tanks.
So stupid. Gotta love it. You gotta love it. I remember crying. My mom took me to see that movie, and I was so scared. I think I was scared of like the idea of like the planet Earth being destroyed.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was a disaster movie.
Yeah, I was like, I did not want to see that movie. She convinced me otherwise.
This opening scene is 5 minutes, 30 seconds long. We talked about how there are no credits. It just opens up in the scene on the building, the Hans Zimmer music, and then shortly after doing the close up onto the clown mask of Joker, which we don't know he's the Joker yet. I think the first part of this scene where you really think like, oh shit, is that first clown kill when the one guy is like, oh, it went out to a private number. And he's like, nah, is it a problem? Nah, I'm done. And then the clown kills the other clown. That's the first like, oh shit moment. We're like, what is it? What's going on in this movie?
Right.
So good twist within that first couple of minutes into the scene. And then shortly after that, the Will Fichtner scene, the bank manager adds a little extra
right?
on top.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, he starts shooting people with the shotgun. Couple like when rewatching it, I like when you rewatch a movie or a scene and you go like, "Oh, that's why he did that. Oh, that's why he says that." That scene where the one clown goes, "I bet the Joker told you to kill me." And he goes, no, I killed the bus driver. And he looks at his watch and he takes 2 steps to the right to position the other guy to where the bus is going to be to hit him. And then it nails him. You're like, oh, okay, he was planning that. He knew that the bus was coming in. I love when you kind of pick up little things later on a rewatch there. And that's the first time you hear the Joker's voice.
Yeah. No, I killed the bus driver.
Right. And then the guy's like, bus driver. And like, as the audience, we're like, bus driver.
Right.
That poor guy thought he had it all figured out. He's like, I'm going to kill this guy before he kills me.
Yeah.
And then little bits on the rewatching of it, when the guy says, hey, it didn't dial out to 911, it dialed out to a private number. That was kind of like, oh, what's going on here? The bank manager trying to kill the clowns. And then the fact that it's a mob bank when the vault electrocutes the one guy.
Right.
He's like, oh, it's a mob bank. You're like, whoa, okay, they're robbing a mob bank. They're wearing clown. Like your brain is like trying to play catch up, trying to figure out what exactly is going on. And then we see the Joker and then the bus pulls out and then we're just off. We're just off and running.
Right. I didn't really follow the logic behind why would it be electrified if it was a mob bank? Wouldn't that be just sort of any bank, or I guess since other banks are insured, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure
the logic behind that, but I mean, it worked.
Yeah, it works in the moment, right? I didn't know, like on the rewatch, I noticed when the guy gets electrocuted, and then it goes to another scene, and then it comes back, and when it comes back, he's got his tennis shoes over his hands, touching the vault. I guess because they're rubber. I don't know.
Yeah,
I was like, what the fuck is he doing there with those shoes?
Like Puma, so yeah. I guess he was trying to use like a non-conduct. Yeah, I don't know.
I have it in a few pending questions from this scene later. You know, I don't have as a category like any unintended comedy, but the only thing I kind of chuckle at every time is when the 2 clowns go on the zip line and then they jump onto the roof. The second clown falls on his ass behind him.
Oh, does he really?
Yeah, I always get a laugh at that.
I never noticed that, and I've seen that movie probably close to 30 times.
I just always laugh at it because I think like that really he tried to land on his feet, but he probably didn't, and they just kept that in the scene.
Well, it looks more authentic though. Yeah, I hate it like when stunts are a little too clean. It takes away from sort of like the the believability of a movie.
Yeah.
And you got to remember, this movie's set in hard stone reality, baby.
Right. This is a reality that I think that we think could exist somewhere. Like it's not that far away. We could have crazy villains. We could have crazy cityscapes like that, which I think Nolan does a good job of creating this world. This Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises world.
There's no villain in that trilogy that could not exist at any time. Like Ra's al Ghul is just like sort of like a mercenary. Scarecrow uses like a psychotropic gas that makes people hallucinate. He preys on their fears.
Mm-hmm.
Joker, Bane's just ripped and kind of fat on the DL. So it's all based in reality.
Yeah. So compelling though, just from that opening scene on. You're like, I got to see what this is all about. All right, let's go to the categories. We wrote a bunch of categories for our opening scenes series. So we're going to run through these. Category number 1 is called The Scene Stands Alone. If you never saw this whole movie and you only saw the opening scene, what would you expect is going on in this movie? I would think you might think this is a mob movie or a heist type of movie, right? I don't know if I get the whole Joker is a nihilist out of this scene.
Yeah, I wouldn't get so much of a heist vibe because he doesn't have any like cohesion with like any other like mob, like sort of like his little crew. I mean, he kills off his entire crew. So and then he's manic.
Right.
So yeah, that's an interesting question.
Yeah, if I just showed you this opening scene, where do you think this movie's going? It's not like a superhero movie at all, because most superhero movies start with like a little heist, and then the hero comes in at the end and stops the little heist, the like second string villain, and then we get into who the real villain is. This one just starts hot with the main villain.
Yeah, and then he's also he cares about the money. He's taking the money, so maybe it's like some sort of like domestic terrorist or some sort of terrorist movie.
Terrorism, that's good. I say it goes into a mob movie. If you just watch this scene, you're like, let's go with mob, crazy villain against the mob, and then they have some sort of city war in the confines of the city itself. I think I could go. I'd watch that movie.
So yeah, especially with the sort of oddity of the Joker.
Right. Yeah, this could be one of those movies like the movie Joker now, where like the villain is the main character essentially. There isn't a hero. The Joker's just nuts. You follow him almost like a taxi driver of Batman movies. Well, actually, that was Joker. Now that I think about it, that was Taxi Driver.
The Walking Phoenix Joker is essentially Taxi Driver.
That's true. Yeah, right down to the city and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Todd Phillips is like a known like Scorsese like sycophant. So like yeah, he prays at the feet of Scorsese. So it's almost like a homage to Taxi Driver, that movie.
Yeah. Could have been a mob movie. Could have been, like I said, a Taxi Driver type of movie. Maybe William Fichtner gets patched up and then he comes for revenge.
Right.
On the Joker.
Right.
It. Yeah. So
I'm not paying to see any William Fichtner movies. I'm sorry.
No, I don't think so. I think he's a secondary. He's a sidekick at best.
Yeah.
So
I haven't seen him in anything in a while now. You mention it.
I don't know what he's been in. Oh, you know what he was a few years ago? Shoot, was he? No, I can't remember. He was something when when the Rams came back to Los Angeles. I think he did a narration, not for Hard Knocks, but some sort of documentary of the Rams coming back to LA. It wouldn't have been Hard Knocks, but it was him at a laptop on his balcony, like in the Hollywood Hills. And he was like, LA, my kind of town.
What?
The Rams are back. I'm pretty sure it was him. And he's just like drinking wine, tapping on a laptop on the balcony of some swanky house, talking about the Rams being in LA again.
They couldn't have gotten literally anyone else to do that. They had to. That's funny.
You're not very high up on Fichtner like I am.
Yeah.
I'll take him as on anybody's crew. He carries a shotgun in his bank desk. Last note before the next category. when William Fichtner, the bank manager, is shooting the shotgun shells at the clowns, and then the one clown goes to Joker, he goes, he's out, right? And then the Joker nods. He knows he's not out, right? Like he's trying to get that dude shot, right?
He's baiting him so that he can take the kill shot. Yeah.
Right. That on the third or fourth rewatch, I was like, oh, he baited his clown buddy to get shot there. And he stands up there and Fichtner takes a shot at him and then he's out and then he gets lit up by the Joker's little mini machine gun.
Exactly. That's what I do with my friend Randy in Call of Duty. It's like, he's out, man. And then I just go.
And then do you yell out to Randy and you go, criminals in this town used to stand for something. Honor. What do you believe in?
Right.
What an odd line, Randy.
Yeah.
Next category. This one's called character check. So who's in the scene and why? This scene, opening scene, really just has the clowns. We don't see their faces. Extras in the bank and William Fichtner. Those are all the characters in this scene. Like, do you feel like they should have added anybody or taken anybody out? I almost could have done with one vigilante bank customer, like someone's in like, you're not taking my money. And then they like hit him in the back of the head with a gun or something.
I almost thought that one of the extras looked like Kyle Gass from Tenacious D.
Oh, really? One of the extras?
Yeah. Like the bald, heavyset guy. I was like, is that Kyle Gass?
Huh.
Kyle Gass, right, from Tenacious D?
I know the guy you're talking about. I don't know his name, though.
I think it's either Glass or Gas. But I was like, holy shit, it's Kyle Gass, man. But I don't think that's the case.
I also would take, whenever they rob a bank, maybe one of the clowns yelling out like their plan. It's like, we're here for the money. We're here for the bank's money, not your money. Keep your heads down.
Right.
Like when they give them little instructions.
Yeah.
And then, they have this in there. Like, I like when they give them the grenades, like to hold the grenade. And you're just like, oh, okay, there's a change. I've never seen this before.
Obviously, we don't want you doing anything with your hands besides holding on to dear life.
Right. Yeah, maybe that was it. Maybe I got what I wanted. They're just a little like extra something to keep everybody sitting still.
And then at some point, those sort of the extras, the bank people that have a fucking account at the bank, they just kind of disappear, right? I do you notice?
Yeah.
Or did they stay in the scene?
Oh, you mean like I think they were all there. They were kind of like tucked away, sitting down.
Oh, they were. Oh shit! I didn't.
I think. Yeah, they must have been though, right? Otherwise, that'd be a huge mess up.
Yeah. Okay, that's probably just something that maybe they blocked it out of frame. I don't know.
Let's go next category. We touched on it a little bit, but surprises of the scene. I have two. When they give them the grenades to hold, they pull the pin and they make them hold the grenade. I thought was a cool feature, a cool twist. And then when the clowns start shooting each other, that's kind of a moment where you're like, oh shit, that's a surprise. Like, I didn't think this meant these crew members would just kill each other.
Right.
There was a couple good surprises in this scene where like, oh, this movie's for real. They're taking it up a notch. Do you have anything surprised you in the scene?
Definitely. Well, for me, it would be the mob bank manager, because that's like, because the first frame that he's in, he has like glasses on. He kind of looks like your average, like he just he looks like he's a 9-to-5 guy. And then I think the first time I saw it too, it like kind of startled me when he shoots at the first clown, and I'm like, oh shit, like. No one's going to take this sort of heat, like, for, you know what I'm saying? Like, no one's going to fucking start raining bullets for their fucking, their bank branch. So there's something more there.
It's almost like the actor William Fichtner thought the scene was about him. He was like, takes the glasses super slowly, gets the shotgun out of his desk, and then shoots through the glass. It's almost like he's like, hey, this is your scene, Fichtner. And he was like, damn right it is.
Oh, well, I mean, fuck yeah. Like, if that was me, like, So the one of the biggest movies ever. I fucking act my ass off in that scene.
He really chews the scene. Like
Yeah.
just the amount of face acting he's doing. Like all the faces he makes when he looks up at the Joker, when he has the grenade in his mouth. Like he goes hard in the paint with the
Yeah.
scene. I loved it.
It's a memorable scene too, so he did a good job.
Would and if you were if you're managing a bank and like four dudes come in with machine guns and clown masks, would you seriously try to take on five guns to your one shotgun? Would you try and stop him? I guess he's a mob guy. I don't know. It just
Yeah,
seems
that's
like
right.
there's no way you could win that battle.
Because it was a 3-on-1 at that point.
Right.
Was a 3-on-1. Fuck. And he kind of walks up to him like, like he was bulletproof, standing out in the open.
Yeah, he's just blasting away, just shooting that stuff. No regard for the other bank customers sitting down. He just blasting shells.
Forget about it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's ballsy. But then
Yep.
again,
Next.
He pulled a gun on Bruce Willis as well, so.
Oh yeah, that's true too. He took a gun into space. Next category, best line of the scene. I have really only two. First one is whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger. The Joker's introduction. And then I have William Fichtner's soliloquy saying, "You think you're smart? Criminals in this town used to believe in things. Honor, respect. Look at you. What do you believe in? What do you believe in?"
What do you believe in, huh? What do you believe in?
Does he seriously think a criminal has honor and respect? What was he expecting out of these criminals? I love the line reading. I don't fully understand it, what he means by that. But again, William Fichtner going hard in the paint.
Yeah, he's thinking back to like the Godfather era of like sort of no drugs. And I have no idea what he's talking about. But yeah,
I don't either. I have no idea either.
There's only one line for me, and it's the Joker line. Yeah. Nothing else is really of substance.
Yeah, we don't have a ton to choose from other than the opening Joker line is just like, oh, this guy's nuts. The Fichtner soliloquy of criminals had honor. Beyond that, it's not going to be the clown's exposition of talking about like, why does he wear paint on his face? He's three of a kind. We all get a share. Like he's explaining that they all get a share. I think we know we're all going to share by this point. Okay, best line. You're going with the Joker one. I'm gonna agree, but give an honorable mention to bank manager William Fichtner asking why the criminals don't have honor. Also, you just saw this guy shoot a guy. He doesn't have any honor.
Right. Zero honor.
No honor. No honor. Next category. This one's called Money Shot. Best part of the scene. This can be anything you want, any version of it. I have two nominees. I have the Joker reveal when he takes off the mask and we get that tight face shot of the mask, which I like because the theme of this movie so much is the mask these people wear. The Joker takes off his mask and he's essentially wearing another mask. Like we still don't see him. So I like that. And I gave a second nominee to when the bus leaves and it just gets in line with the other buses and it just drives off. Like it's choreographed so well. And you're just like, we're just off. Like they pulled off the perfect heist. Like what's going to happen next? So I got those two nominees for best parts of the scene. What do you have? Do you like those two or do you have your own?
Yeah, the obvious one would be the reveal, but I'm going to go with a couple of different shots. One that I like but it's probably really subtle is so like when he's like he's out, right? And then he shoots his clown henchman and then he takes a shot on the bank manager and he's like, "Where'd you learn to count?" And then it cuts back to the Joker and he like kind of like really like cuts to him. And then I was like, "Oh, that's the Joker." Like that was like
that's when you knew.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's the Joker because he already like his cunning is showing that he's fucking So I was like, that's a really cool moment in that scene.
I have this. I don't know if I wrote this in the categories, but I have one called pending questions. This is questions you came up with while watching the scene that like just didn't make sense to you. So I have, this was actually my favorite part. This was some things I thought of while watching this scene. So their plan for the bank heist was to just go in shooting guns in the air. And like that was going to work out. That didn't seem like a well thought out bank heist plan. That was how they were going to get the drop on everybody. Because they just go in shooting guns and they're like, oh, there's a bank robbery.
Yeah, now that you mention that, I mean, because they have the people on the floor, unless they had to sort of seize that room to get to the vault. I don't remember those two guys that are on the vault. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. They just go in, like, they don't do the thing where they go in and they hit the security guard on the head at first, or they just go in shooting guns. And then they just start
Yeah.
tying up everybody. Like, not a well thought out bank heist plan.
It seems like they could have almost done without that.
Yeah. Like, almost if you were to rewrite the scene, you're like, we need something good on how they get the drop on security guards and the bank. Because they just go in, they're like shooting guns in the air.
Yeah,
So that
it
was
seems like it's like almost like they could have walked out with the money if they were a little more,
right.
subtle.
You're already wearing clown masks. Like, you're already scary enough.
Yeah.
Probably would have worked.
But then again, I don't exactly remember how those two guys make it down to the vault. So maybe they did have to seize that room so that they could get those two guys to the vault.
Yeah, you're right. Like with this scene, like you get a good sense of space. Like it's almost like that bank seems like a very long room. They go in through one door, the bus is at the back of that room. We don't see anybody go downstairs to a vault or around a corner. We're just all essentially in that room. So we don't really know where that vault is in relation to the bank teller stations and where the bus breaks in.
I think it was more designed, like if you want to look at it a different way, I think that scene was designed like that so that the Joker could like get one kill, like have the other people that are paired up like kill each other, and then so that he could walk out with the bus.
Mm-hmm.
What, like take off in the bus?
Right.
More design, yeah. So yeah, now it makes sense.
Was the Joker driving that bus? Yeah, he was, right?
No, because
Oh.
yeah, someone had to
Uh,
someone backed
Oh,
it into
yeah. I
the
mean,
bus.
he drove it out of the bank. He didn't back into the bank.
I don't know. It's a good question. That's off screen, so I'm
Right.
gonna go. Yeah,
He
probably
must
killed
have.
that bus driver.
Right. Yeah, because he kills the bus driver. I also like when the bus driver comes in and he's loading up the bags, and his like soul line is like, "That's a lot of money." Like, yes, thank you. That is a
Yeah.
lot of money. Thank you.
Oh no, yeah, he is. He is driving the bus. Yeah, because
The Joker has to be, right, because he shoots that guy.
yeah, he shoots the dude at the end. Then like, oh, that was the other scene, the other shot that I was gonna mention when I liked how he's like I forgot what the line is, but then like the way he shoots him, he's like turned away and then he just kind of flips up his
Oh yeah,
semi-auto
yeah, that's
pistol.
right.
That was cool.
Oh right, yeah, he does that no look. He does a no
Yeah.
look shoot the guy.
Lazy arm. It's a cool scene.
Next pending question. Why didn't the bank customers, they're holding the grenade? Why didn't they just throw the grenade at the clowns? Like, they had them holding the pin, or like they pull the pin, they're holding the grenade. Couldn't they just throw the grenade at the clowns? Couldn't one of them throw the grenade in the bus or something? Why did they have to hold the grenade? I didn't get that part.
Well, I mean, I think the idea behind that is they don't want them calling anyone or maybe picking up other things to defend themselves with. If they were
Right.
just to throw the grenade, I mean, well, if you're looking at it that way, like if they threw the grenade at them, there's a really good chance that they would get injured themselves. And it would call attention to them and they'd mow them down. So.
Yeah, they would have to do it strategically, because once they throw it, then you've got a handful of seconds before it goes off. So if you threw it at the clowns would have time to move or throw it back at them. You'd have to, like, in a sly way, place it somewhere and then run back to your spot, essentially, I guess. But like they kind of gave them all little mini bombs to throw at them.
Uh-huh. But then
Yeah.
like also like you're scared and then you're like you don't know like the fucking how long you have until like. So let's say like yeah, you did plant it. Like you don't know how much time you have until it sets off. I'll give Christopher Nolan the pass on that one.
Yeah, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt that was a cool technique. Everybody's got to hold a grenade. If you let it go, you blow up.
Yeah.
Next pending question. What if bank manager William Fichtner actually shot the Joker? Like, he could have shot him, right? Because he had that first shot surprise. He kills the one clown. He could have shot the Joker, right? Why didn't he do that?
But then again, like yeah, he's like he doesn't know like who's the leader. Like
Yeah.
there's that
Yeah,
sort of there's that sort of narrative logic. Like we don't know who the Joker is at that point, so that he was kind of shooting sort of
He was shooting very randomly.
partial.
So, yeah, he got one clown
Partially.
just hoping that was the main guy, but it wasn't. Next pending question. What exactly did the Joker put in William Fichtner's mouth? Was that a grenade?
Looked like a smoke grenade.
Is that what it was? Because then he drives off and it pulls the pin and a little smoke comes out. And that's when William Fichtner goes, oh.
I like to think though, since the Joker is like a sort of trickster, that it's like one of those like stink bombs.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Maybe that could have been the grenades. Like maybe there were joke grenades too.
Yeah, that's what I liked. That's what I fantasize it being, is like those are all just dummy fucking stink grenades.
Right.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be good. Yeah, joke grenades like
Fucking Joker.
Yeah, just like one of the hostages tries to get smart and throws a grenade or something, but they realize they didn't do anything because it's a joke grenade, and then Joker can do another backhand with the gun and waste him.
I kind of wish that like was seen. Like maybe the movie was 3 hours long. Maybe that's like something that was cut out of the movie.
Yeah, it was a pretty long movie as it is. Maybe they had to trim a bit. Like, we got this 23-minute skyhook scene. We need to trim from other places if we're gonna fit this all in there. Lucius needs 2 cell phones.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, if you want to like really criticize the movie, it's like, well, I know for a fact, like, that this guy gave me a cell phone. Like, you can look at like security footage. Like, this guy gave me a fucking cell phone. Like, so this phone is like either like some sort of like a decoy or a bomb.
They're like
so uptight on security.
Top Chinese security.
Yeah.
Oh, he had 2 cell phones. Damn it.
Oh wait, I must have gave it back to him. It was like a Nokia or some bullshit.
Right. I like when it's like, oh, I forgot or he's like, I got my cell phone, and like Lucius is like, I got my own. He's like, we don't allow cell phones. Forgot I had it. Like, that was your plan.
We do not allow cell phones. Sorry, forgot I had it.
Like, no, you didn't, because you put one cell phone in the case already.
This is a very fickle plan for Mr. Fox and Batman on that one.
Right. Yeah, it's not in the opening scene, but I'm gonna allow it. I got one more pending question. If the bus drove out of the bank it just crashed into a line of other school buses, nobody would notice this and tell the cops, hey, it's that bus. It's that bus with a bunch of dust on it. The bus behind it wouldn't say, like, where the hell did that bus come from? That was my last pending question. Is like, I think they would stop that bus in about 30 seconds.
Or they would just be like, see what bus had gone. Yeah, that's a sort of a glaring hole, and that's sort of. But then again, the Joker probably got rid of the bus. He probably had an exit strategy. So.
Yeah. Again, all right. So you're giving the Joker total benefit of the doubt.
I give him,
Just the bus driver behind the bus would be like, hey, where that bus just come out of a building?
The hell, man!
Come on, man. Why are you in this building? What are you doing?
All this, got my windshield full of dust, man.
You're getting dust on my bus here. I got a bus full of unruly kids. I got a bus that drove out of a bank. There's a guy with a grenade in his mouth.
Fuck.
What'd they do with the grenades? Like when the cops came? Oh, I guess you can put a pin back in the grenade.
Yeah, they probably had like a bomb squad or some
Yeah.
bullshit.
Right. That was all I had for pending questions. Do you have any other questions that stood out for you during the scene?
Opening scene. No, I think you pretty much covered it. Or like I said, like I give the Joker and Christopher Nolan the benefit of the doubt. I give them immunity.
Yeah, as far as best part of the, if we go back to the category best part of the scene, like maybe Christopher Nolan wins best part of the scene, just constructing a crazy chaotic world right from the start.
Right. And then yeah, that scene also illustrates how, in a really subtle way, how the Joker is one step ahead of everyone.
Yeah, good
One
point.
setting.
Yeah, that he is ahead of everybody's playing catch up to him.
Mm-hmm.
Last category, final one. What type of opening scene is this? We talked a little bit about it being the villain, enter the villain, but I also have it as a red herring. Like you disagree a bit, but I have as a red herring thinking we're going to have a heist movie and it really isn't. So I give it a red herring type of opening scene. What do you think?
Yeah, I disagree insofar as like he is. It does set the stage for, like he steals the mom's money, then like that's how he sort of like granted this sort of sit down with him like in front of that TV with Lau. And but what I thought was cool about like the Joker in general is like he he's built up as like sort of like a nobody, you know what I'm saying? And he like ends up just like wrecking Gotham City. So like I thought that was a cool way of like almost like his own sort of origin story, like that he was kind of like a mid, like not even a mid-level guy, just like some sort of like crazy anarchist. And he like gets the money, like rule number one, get the money, and then like
Then you get
use
the
the money
power.
as
Oh wait, that's
use the money
Scarface. Sorry.
use the money as leverage, and then like you get more. It's like it's a cool way of
Mm,
like a Joker introduction in the movie. A
yeah.
really believable way of like the Joker becoming this sort of heavyweight.
So yeah, it sounds like you would be more of enter villain type of scene into it, and then we're off to the movie, and then we'll go out on this. Who do you think are the top movie villains ever? I think the Joker is in the conversation. I think well, I don't think he would be in any sequels. Nolan never did sequels with the same villain, but he got the one movie. I think he would be in the top Mount Rushmore of villains. Who would be in there for you? I have Joker, Darth Vader would be a
Yeah.
good villain in there.
Before I get to that, from what I hear, from what I've read, the third Dark Knight movie was planned to be like the Joker's trial. So they're
Oh,
planning to have him back, but of course he
really?
died.
Uh
Yeah.
huh.
So that was kind of
That's true because Scarecrow isn't he in all three movies
he's in all three.
in really small roles? But he is in all three. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. And the third one, he plays like this like insane judge that this like he was like, yo, guilty or not guilty, and it's like
Right.
everyone's just guilty, and like he kills them all. It's
He like
ridiculous.
Nolan gives him like one little joke line in every single movie to just
Yeah.
kind of throw in there, and then he's out and he's
Yeah.
like, I don't. When Batman's like, I don't need help, and Skullcrow's like, that's not my diagnosis.
Not my dog. No, yeah, it's like all out of it. Uh, but I think probably Christopher Nolan has like a sweet spot for what's his name? Cillian Murphy. He's in
Yeah,
a lot of his movies. So at the top of my list is Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men.
yeah, that's good. He almost is like the Joker in that movie. Just no care about anything.
Nihilistic, just no, like he does have a code. Anton Chigurh, Darth Vader, of course.
I feel like Woody Harrelson in No Country should have asked Anton Chigurh at some point, "What do you believe in?"
Yeah, what do you believe in, huh?
then he's like, hey, I believe in shooting people in the head with this cattle prod. Sugar, Darth Vader is good. Joker. What about Hannibal Lecter? He's more of a psychological.
But that you see, like a lot of people debate that he's not really a villain. He's like more like in the middle.
Yeah. Plus, he's locked up too. Well, he gets out at the end, but he's kind of locked up, so he's not a threat right away.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. Vader, yeah.
The asteroid in Armageddon.
Those are my two.
Darth Vader. Maybe De Niro in Cape Fear. That's a good villain.
Oh God, yeah. But but when you say villain, but I guess Anton Chigurh in No Country is also a one and done. So I guess he'd have to be.
Well, I think the Joker just being introduced 2008 is in everybody's category. Just creepy, crazy character, just all that went into it. Like we knew the Joker already, and then this one just took it to a whole nother level, a whole nother peak that like we didn't know could exist with the Joker. With like even down to the voice, the voice is weird, and like we can't figure anything out about him. Like when the police are like, his clothes don't have any tags. Like there's nothing we can nail down about this guy. He's a total mystery. I think they did a good job of making that work all the way through. And then back to like, this might be the Joker movie. This might be the Heath Ledger movie.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. Especially since I think he passed in and around the time that the movie came out. So yeah, more emphasis was placed on his role in the movie. Yeah, it is kind of something that's what makes him creepier in my mind too is like that sort of like how he's kind of like a John Doe. Like we don't know where he comes from. We just know like a little bit of like his backstory with his parents. No fingerprint matches. I don't know, that sort of shit creeps me out.
Yeah. Well, 2008, The Dark Knight, the last blockbuster. It's close. That was opening scenes. Adrian Ramirez, thank you. First installment. See you next month.
Yes, sir.